Okay, Alexander, we need to talk about Home Secretary of the Johnson cabinet, Priti Patel. And that is the equivalent of like the Minister of Interior of another country, for example. So she's in charge of everything that's going on inside the country, the police, public order, etc. Now, I've been reading up a lot about this story because I have to admit I don't know much about this issue, and I know that you know a whole lot. But from what I understand, she's been charged. She's people that worked for her have alleged that she's bullied them.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't bully them in what way? What's
yeah,
going on here? It's
yeah,
very bizarre from someone on the outside looking in. It's a
yeah.
very bizarre story.
Well, it's an astonishing story. What has happened is that there's been lots of rumors swirling around that Priti Patel, who is known to be a very abrasive personality, has been having lots of trouble with the permanent officials in the Home Office. The Home Office, as you rightly say, is the British Ministry of the Interior. Priti Patel, through the Home Office, is the minister responsible for the police, law and order, prisons, all those sort of things. So it's an important post. Bear in mind that with Brexit, it's going to become an even more important post because she's going to be on the front line dealing with immigration issues. And one of the points about Brexit is tightening up immigration controls. So she's very abrasive. She apparently uses lots of swear words. She's extremely demanding. She phones up people, weird hours of the day, demanding that they get things done. She apparently makes impossible demands. There's been stories that she's briefing against some of her permanent officials by telling stories about them to the media. And the permanent secretary of the Home Office, that is the most senior civil servant within the Home Office, who's a man called Sir Philip Rutnam, has now very publicly resigned, which is an almost unprecedented thing to happen in Britain. Permanent secretaries don't resign, but he has, and he's actually made a very, very strong public statement against her, and is going to bring a court case against her for constructive unfair dismissal. In other words, he says that she's made his life so unbearable that he's going to treat himself as dismissed, and is going to bring a case against her on the grounds that she's effectively sacked him. Now, what you have to understand is that the background to all of this story is that the relations between the civil service and the Johnson government are extremely bad. The reason is Brexit. The civil service opposed Brexit. Boris Johnson, of course, represents the Conservative Party, that faction within the Conservative Party, which wanted to get Brexit done. So there's been this enormous tension within the government over Brexit, and that has escalated, if anything, since the election, with Boris Johnson now pushing very hard, or rather his ministers pushing very hard to see this Brexit policy implemented, seeing probably correctly resistance to this policy from the civil service, and this has resulted in rows, anger, backfighting, all that kind of thing that we see. And this is one latest expression of it. That is not to deny, by the way, that Priti Patel is a very abrasive character and has probably gone too far.
Now, Corbyn wants an investigation. I think he wants a more broad investigation, or a more external type of investigation from like an independent investigator, while Boris Johnson, from what I understand, is just saying, or he's made a statement that there's an investigation, but it's happening within his cabinet. Is that correct?
Correct. What Corbyn wants, and inevitable that he would demand it, he wants the whole thing thrown open to the public and with independent investigators brought in, which would obviously cause the government embarrassment, because clearly, there have been. I'm no doubt
Like a Mueller style, would that be correct?
Mueller style, something
yeah.
Not on that scale, but
Right,
something a little bit like that. What Boris Johnson says is that he wants the whole thing investigated by the Chief Cabinet Secretary and his officials. The Chief Cabinet Secretary is the head of the civil service. He answers directly to Boris Johnson. That's a way of keeping the thing, in-house, if you like. And of course, what Boris Johnson has also been saying is that he backs Priti Patel. So I don't think there's any question that Priti Patel will remain Home Secretary. I don't think there's any question that Boris Johnson will continue to support her because, as I said, she is a key figure in the government amongst the Brexit supporting ministers. And I don't think anyway that Boris Johnson at this time wants to see any weakening of the government's strong position on Brexit, which it would appear would be the case if he started backing off in a battle between one of his senior ministers and the civil service. So it's got to be understood. This is all argued out within the greater overarching question of Brexit. Britain has left the European Union, but it is still negotiating a trade deal. And that is what the whole argument is all about.
So is this a political scandal, for lack of a better word to say scandal? Is this a political scandal or is this a social scandal? Because I'm trying to figure out, why is this such a big story? Is this more about the politics of her being Home Secretary with Brexit now, coming into full swing? Or is this about a woman in a very powerful position bullying everybody that works under her?
It's both. I've no doubt at all that Priti Patel is a very abrasive character. I've no doubt at all that she has been incredibly rude and demanding and aggressive to some of her officials. And one should never, by the way, be tolerant of harassment or bullying at work. I've seen it done, and it's ugly. And I'm sure there have been elements of this, but the only reason this has blown up to the extent that it has, the only reason why it's become this big issue, is because, of course, Corbyn and other people are making it so. And that is partly because we have this whole issue of Brexit looming over the horizon. There is now a very real possibility we could have the hard Brexit. People are talking about the no-deal Brexit in December, and that's making people very nervous. And tempers are becoming very frayed.
It's making Remainers nervous.
Oh, he's making Remainers nervous, and he's
Boris seems confident.
Well, he's very clever. He's going to get what he wants. I've no doubt about it. He's got an 80-seat majority. He's in full control of his party. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But as I said, Remainers are getting very nervous. The civil service, which opposed Brexit, is very nervous. And of course, there is also a sense that the government is out to get civil servants who plotted with the Remainers last year to try to stop Brexit. So there's all this going on, and this row with Priti Patel is connected to it.
Very quickly, Alexander, I have one more question. Do you think it's wise for Corbyn to get involved in all of this the way he is?
Why not? I mean, I think it is, yes. I mean, he's just making mileage out of out of a storm. I mean, that's what oppositions do. I think any opposition leader would be trying to make mileage out of it. So I don't think it does him any kind of harm at any level. And of course, bear in mind, I'm sure there has been some bullying going on. So that plays straight into his hands. But bear in mind something else. John Bercow, our famous imperial speaker, who was so heavily involved in trying to stop Brexit last year, there were lots of allegations that he was also a bully and was extremely aggressive towards some of his staff. And you didn't see Corbyn or any of his people complaining about that then. So it's, so there is a difference. But, one shouldn't downplay the significance of this, and one should never downplay bullying at work. But there is, of course, politics involved, and there always will be. These sort of things, there always will be. The government will just plough on. Priti Patel will remain Home Secretary. And I suspect we are now definitely moving, by the way, towards a no-deal Brexit in December. And given that that is so, and given the very bad feeling between the government and the civil service, it is completely unsurprising that we're starting to see turbulence and tempers and all sorts of problems along the way. I would add just one other thing, which is that Boris Johnson's chief of staff, a man called Dominic Cummings, is busy recruiting advisors, personal advisors, who he is quite obviously pitching against the civil service. In other words, he's trying to set up a kind of parallel team within the cabinet of semi-permanent, not officials, but people who are directly answerable to Cummings and Johnson, as a kind of parallel structure to the civil service. And that's also going to make the civil service extremely worried. So, we have all of these things in play.
All right. Alexander Mercouris, Editor-in-Chief of Duran. Thank you very much, guys. Click on that subscribe button, hit that notifications bell, and make sure you're still subscribed to this channel, because YouTube unsubscribes many, many of our viewers. And go to the Duran shop, pick up some magic mugs, pick up some awesome t-shirts, polo shirts. We've got all kinds of great merchandise. And also don't forget to donate to us on PayPal, Patreon, and subscribe. Start your donation. Really helps us out a lot. Alexander, I think we need to send Duran polo to Priti Patel. Maybe it'll calm her down.
It surely would. I mean, she looked great in it, actually. I mean, everybody who wants to look great should get themselves a Duran polo shirt, because they're phenomenal. I mean, they're so stylish, so elegant, they're so well made, they're 100% cotton. You can wear them in the most amazing places. You could certainly wear them, I think, in the House of Commons if you wanted to. I mean, not everybody has to wear suits, and women ministers certainly don't have to wear suits. So she would look great in a polo shirt, Duran polo shirt. And that isn't just extended to her. So would all the other women MPs in the House of Commons also, both on the government and the opposition benches. So if they want to come to us and support the Duran, they're very welcome to. They can buy our polo shirts. And that invitation isn't just extended to members of Parliament, it's extended to everyone, because they are really phenomenal and amazing polo shirts. And by the way, just to remind everybody, they've also got embroidered there the Duran double-headed eagle. We don't, of course, only have polo shirts in our shop. We have Duran t-shirts, short-sleeved and long-sleeved, also 100% cotton, also amazingly well made. We also have, of course, V-neck shirts. We have hats, hoodies, and stickers. We have our amazing Duran mugs, of which, unfortunately, as of this moment, my wife has monopolized them all, because we have people that are helping themselves with them. But there you go. Well, Alex has got his with a double-headed eagle of the Russian Federation, as you will find on Mr. Putin's mugs. So you will find all of those wonderful things in our shop, along with our electronic books on subjects like Russiagate, Ukrainegate, Brexit, which we've been talking about, Epstein. You can buy all these things from our shop. You can support the Duran, which needs all the support it can get, because, as Alex says, we have lots of problems with YouTube and all kinds of other people cancelling our subscriptions, demonetizing our videos, and all the rest. So you can support the Duran, and you can be the proud owner of these great things. So don't hold back. Come to the shop. Come support the Duran. Be the great owner of these great things. Alex will tell you how.
Just go to theduranshop.com. You'll find the link in the description box down below. Alexander Mercouris, thank you very much. Until next time, everybody, take care.